And Dreamforge, welcome in, and that is a phenomenal question, actually. Let me just go up here, mastery points, sweet. That's actually a super good question. When you look at PvE raid DPS, how much is exactly the difference in numbers when it comes to DPS? You can't find any information about it. What is the difference between S tier and A tier? Does someone know that? That is a phenomenal question, and for that I'll actually bring up the Snowcrow's benchmarks. These will basically show what the optimal DPS that each DPS build can perform, so let me bring that up now. But overall, if I just filter this for DPS, any sort of relevant DPS build right now is doing somewhere in the realm of 47k for Power Untamed, which that is absolutely insane, down to about 39k-ish for Scourge. There's some really sort of specific builds here, but yeah, roughly about 39k is really the cutoff at what I consider to be a relevant build. Power Mechanist is going to be buffed and brought up a bit, and Power Herald's a bit of a different DPS build. So somewhere in the realm of 47 to 39k, that is what constitutes a DPS build. Any DPS build that is on here is really one that's worth you knowing. But in terms of what makes an S tier DPS build and an A tier, it's not actually the DPS. It is a combination of how much utility it brings, how easy it is to play, and its overall DPS. Because if we take a look through this, we see things like Power Deadeye Spear. Why do you not see many Power Deadeye Spear builds? It's because it's an absolute nightmare to play. So many like builds that sit up here are ridiculously complicated to play and really hard to pull off in actual content, like Condition Mirage. There's probably about 2 or 3 people in the entire game that could actually get, you know, the benchmark number from Condition Mirage. There are a lot of really difficult builds that sort of sit up here. Whereas then you actually find what I'd consider to be an S tier build. It would actually be something like Condition Damage Mechanist right now. Now, Condition Damage Mechanist is actually sitting a bit towards the higher end here. But actually, what I truly consider S tier about this is once you come down to the kitless version of the build. You drop a bit of DPS, but what you have now, see, instead of a 45k bench, you have a 40.7k bench, but you have something that is incredibly easy to execute, and it will basically hit this number on most encounters because of how easy it is to play. To get this much damage off a build that is this easy to play, and trust me, I've spoken about this build before. Yeah, 40k on NG without kits is insane. Yeah, straight up, it's insane. I basically picked up this build after not knowing much about Spear. It's really like the first time I played it. Or maybe like the second time, but it was I'm very new to it. I just picked it up and instantly started hitting 38k. I'm like, what's happening? I had to sweat to, get 38k on Power Vindicator. Whereas this, I just picked it up and just went, oh, I literally just blast these things off cooldown. All my signets just kind of sit here. And I have utility. That's insane. And then if we start thinking about things like, I've spoken about this one a lot as well, Condition Damage Scourge. It's sitting down here at, 39, 40k for its overall benchmark, but this is a build that actually makes your team's life easier. Because you have Barrier, you have Condi Cleanse, you have Range Revive, you have CC, you can give stability. You can do so much with Condi Scourge that actually just really makes your team's life easier. So this is actually, even though it sits at lower end of the benchmark, I would put it, I'd actually put this well up in S tier, 100%. I put Condi Scourge up in S tier with Condi Mech. Thanks for making that clear. So it's kind of like 10% DPS, not that big of a deal then. Yeah, the difference in DPS is not that significant, and what's more important is finding a build that you enjoy as a player, because the build that you enjoy is the build you're going to do the best on. But in terms of what actually, in a vacuum, is an S tier DPS build, it's how much DPS does it do? How easy is it to play? What utility does it bring? And sort of, what bits of quality of life does it have? Like, Power Spellbreaker with Hammer. It's very chill to play, has a nice smooth looping rotation, and it has basically perma stability. That's really, really nice. Then we've got a number on LI Power Guardian. How much is it? LI Hammer Guardian, how much is it now? Low 30s, I think. I haven't checked it too much in a while. Snowcrows will have it. Or 32 on Hammer DH. Oh, perfect. I was spot on. But other S tier ones, honestly, like Virtuoso, I'd put up there, and sort of your S or very high A tier. Power Scrapper, I'd kind of put up there. You can sort of just look and see what people are playing the most. People will tend to gravitate to the classes that have really good damage, but also are quite easy to play. So you can sort of just observe what DPS people are playing. They're usually playing it for a reason. But yeah, that's why you're seeing so much Condi mech at the moment. And also you do have outlier situations where builds are just unjustifiably strong. There was a time when Secrets of the Obscure launched, where Scourge, the build that I already say is at S tier, and currently doing 40k, so it's on the low end, that was doing 50k. It had all the utility, and it had more damage than anything on here by a significant margin. It was, for a time, the most broken build in the game, and probably one of the most broken builds of all time in Guild Wars 2. They nerfed it down, and they could keep nerfing that. They could bring this down to, I don't know, 38, 37, 36, and I still think it would be great. But yeah, overall, an S tier build, it's a combination of how easy it is to play, what utility, and how much damage does it bring. Because yeah, if you have a build that does absolutely insane damage but doesn't offer that much utility and is super annoying to play, it's not going to be an S tier one. But other stuff here that I think is super hype. Let's see. Power Reaper I think is really good. Conditioned Daredevil's super chill to play. Power Daredevil I quite like. Any of the Soul Beast builds are good value. Conditioned Tempest I really like as well. Power Tempest also as well will be quite chill to play. Yeah, I have to actually check, because Weaver builds have historically been really difficult, but it depends. Sometimes they can be a bit on the simpler side as well. No, it's just got a bit of a loop there. It's probably not that bad. And Keanu Gleaves, nice name. I'm surprised Untamed is so high up right now in theory, but you hardly see people pulsing big numbers. Yeah, it's because Untamed is actually really hard to get those big numbers out. You'll get good numbers out of it quite quickly, but yeah, trying to get those really, really high numbers, also because Spear's a bit of a weird weapon. What's your main elite spec? So I main Revenant. I play basically everything to varying levels. But I main Revenant and Herald will be my main sort of spec on them. But yeah, I play Vindicator and Renegade, so depending on whatever mood I'm in. Cool, we got another mastery point there. A Ranger Spear will be nerfed next patch. Oh, will it? Okay, well then that number will come down. That's okay, the old Soul Beast build's still very hyped.